and welcome to It's Fanbox. We are doing a new after show series, even though it's a couple days after, for Daredevil Born Again, and we're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2. Thank you all for watching, whether it's watching us live or watching us after the fact, or even listening to the audio version of this podcast if you're driving on your way to work. If you'd like to know more about us, you can please be sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications on YouTube. You can also go to itsfanbox.com or just look us up anywhere you get your podcasts. This will be posting probably sometime on Sunday, the day after, and then you will see it everywhere. But with that said, I want to go ahead and just introduce everyone that's here. So we're going to go ahead and start right over here, and we're going to go clockwise. So say who you are, where we can find you, and then we'll just move on to the next person.
Hi, my name is Tony Ann. My username on TikTok and Instagram is Scarlet Bruja, and then the Scarlet Bruja on Instagram. Hello, and I love Daredevil, obviously.
Am I next? Oh, hi. I'm Will Wilkins. I'm Will. Didn't I couldn't tell.
Everything's good.
I'm Will Wilkins. You can find that Will Wilkins everywhere on any social media you're on. Just look for that Will Wilkins. It's that simple.
All right.
Also, I am slightly fond of Daredevil as well.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sarah. Oh wait, are we going down? Are we going across?
You started. Go for it. We'll
go
for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Sarah.
Now we're switching to a new
Movies and Tea. Yeah, exactly. We're going back daylight savings. And I'm at Movies and Tea across social platforms, and I also love Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I'm Shay Jones, a spoonful of shade across all social media platforms, and I like Matt Murdock.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I will say that. I have nothing against Daredevil. I'm just saying.
I am Xanatos1138 on all platforms, and I feel like because of this show, I like Daredevil a lot more than I used to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am Xanatos1138 everywhere.
And be sure to follow all of them. Also, at some point, once we get everything done on the website, you will be seeing our content creators listed under our team. So if you want to see where they're at, what they're doing, or what they're also other things they're attached to, because I can tell you this Gallery of Rogues has been on other shows with us, especially the Agatha All Along, which was a extremely successful show, but also an extremely successful podcast for us. We were hitting over 50 countries. Thousands of people were downloading our show. So absolutely just amazing. And of course, it's because of this great cast of people. And of course, we'll have other people coming in over time. But we're here to talk about Daredevil Born Again, episodes 1 and 2. And wow. Now, this is 10 years since the beginning of the Daredevil Netflix series. It's 7 years since the last season. We're picking where a lot of people thought that this wasn't part of the MCU. We're picking right up where we left off, and we're definitely feeling the feels. Let's do this. I'm gonna move us our cameras. I feel like we need to give the ladies the floor above us here.
Oh yeah, because it's Women's Day.
Women's Day.
Exactly. So, and I also know that I think of the group, I know Will, you look like you're a really big Daredevil fan, but I would say from social media, I've seen this group be very vocal. So we want to hear from you guys first. What were your thoughts, like initial thoughts? We're going to get into the spoilery stuff in a minute, but just, let's go, Sarah, over to Shay. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. Are we doing episodes 1 and 2?
Yes, episodes 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. Both were fabulous. I didn't think I would like I'm kind of going backwards, but I didn't think I'd like episode 2 as much as I did, given what happened in episode 1. But I did enjoy both episodes. I think it brought a taste of the MCU into the darker Netflix show. I think it was a really good combination. They both types of styles, I guess, meshed really well together, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I agree with Sarah completely. I was telling my husband when we were watching it, I was like, this feels just like, not just like enough, like, I guess, the Netflix show. I was just like, I felt like a little girl that was excited for school, like the first day of school, like, oh my God, Daredevil's back. And then that was ripped away from me very fast. But I'm loving it so far.
Mhm.
It was interesting going back. But like Sarah said, I really think they did do a great job of the darker parts of the Netflix series and mixing it into the MCU. Um, and it was just, I mean, the pace felt a little slower. If that makes sense. And I was like, I don't know how to feel about it actually, but there were so many amazing moments, especially the moment where Matt and Fisk, like that meetup was absolutely everything.
Mhm.
I loved it.
Mhm. It's funny. I can see where the pacing was a little bit slower, but I also so here's my perception from it. If you go back to the original Netflix series, we had all of those episodes that was all about world building. It was basically kind of helping find its place. I mean, we're talking about a universe that was very much in the Avengers world, even though some people argued about it. I mean, they referenced the Battle of New York. There was like talk about rebuilding the city and everything else. The I think the thing that allowed these two episodes to be more of a slower burn than what we've seen before is the fact that they didn't have to world build. They didn't. I mean, we've seen Matt Murdock through his series, through the Defender show. We then saw him in No Way Home. We've seen Fisk through Hawkeye and Echo since Daredevil, and so we know what these characters found. I think the only character that I feel like we really needed to catch up with was Vanessa Fisk, because she's been out of the limelight since season 3. And like, was she still with them? Because we didn't see her in Hawkeye and Echo and everything else, and kind of seeing where their relationship is now was really interesting, and I like that. But I will agree with the slow pace, with the exception of that first 10, like 5 to 10 minutes was
Was not acceptable.
That
traumatizingly
was
fast.
0 to 100. That, like,
Yeah.
actually, it wasn't even 0. Like, it was like 0 to 3,000. Like,
And I think what I love most about this series is, like, people are like, oh, Netflix can do with the Marvel shows what Disney can't do because they can't be brutal, they can't be vicious. And I'm thinking, Disney was like, hold my beer, like just watch me.
and I feel like
Especially
they
the end of season.
Bill.
Yes,
No,
like the
it was
end of
crazy though, because like how, like so many people, I want you to be like duck, like that's why are we not ducking? Why are we not?
I feel like
Yeah.
Low.
Why are we swinging
the
in
amount of
Tarzan?
bodies. Like,
Why
yes,
are we
what-
still in the building?
Yeah,
Why?
it's full of smoke, and they're like, "What should we do?"
You know,
I
Like,
Exit.
because even like just innocent people were just getting taken out. Like, and I'm like,
I felt
I get it, I guess, but why?
I felt bad for the bystanders. Like, hey, honey, call the cops, and knife to the chest, dead.
Mhm.
And she was just like carrying groceries. I was like,
Yeah.
"Bruh, what? Dexter, please, not Dexter. Point Dexter, please go to therapy. Like, please." And
A
like,
lot of these characters could like just really use some therapy.
Use, yeah. Mhm.
like, I don't know if that would solve their problems, but I think it would have avoided a lot of this.
oh yeah, absolutely. So Daredevil, what do you got? What do you got for us?
Well, first of all, for those that are just listening, I of course made the brilliant decision saying, "Oh, I've got a 3D printer. In less than 24 hours, let's put together a Daredevil mask or a helmet." Great plan. Didn't lose any hours of my life putting this together. And secondly, the lenses are red. So is my lighting correct, or am I in like a pink and white?
Your lighting looks great.
Okay, great. Thanks for pointing that out. I was incredibly impressed with what they have done. And I think that going back, because the first like 11, 12 minutes of this show was all originally stuff that just happened off camera. One of the producers or director confirmed that, yeah, like basically the opening of the show was added on. And all of that would have been a damn shame to have happen off camera, to just be referenced, to come in and the subsequent things with the sentencing and all that jazz. And plus, I think it was a really great thing in helping to define the line that, yes, there was the Netflix show. Now there is this show. The only thing I don't like about the storytelling that they are doing right now, this is my literal right now, my only complaint. I've already had 2 seasons of getting this guy into the Daredevil costume, so I don't need another one. Guys, if we're not in it again by episode 3, I'm melting this thing that's on my head.
Okay, I will agree with you on that, because I will I will tell you, like, after the Defender series and we got into season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix, I was like, what is this, Daredevil no more? And then what do we get? We literally get him dropping the mask and he's like swearing off the suit. And like, even you get that moment with Foggy where he's like, it's this image right here. He's like, I didn't want you to have to do it. And
I didn't want to give you the excuse.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you the excuse. And it's like, okay, get the suit back on. Let's just get the suit back on.
Yeah, let's stop playing around. Just put it back on.
Yeah.
Like,
But a lot of the creative choices that they're doing in bringing us into Matt's world, you know, with the expansion and compression of aspect ratio to even give us the impression of he's narrowing his field of hearing, and then he focuses in on a conversation, and we went
that was really cool.
I was just like, my goodness, what are y'all doing? I really like where they're going, and you know, I can't make a Daredevil. So, well, I mean, other than this thing I'm wearing on my head, I can't make one. So I'm very pleased with what they're doing so far.
David,
Okay,
it's queuing you
up. I felt like looking at both of these 2 episodes as a whole, it was like exposition sandwiched between violence, because there was the very beginning, edge of your seat, and the very end. But like all of it was really interesting. You know, like you said, catching up with the characters, what Fisk is doing, how Fisk is still dealing with the after effects of Echo, and then dealing with troubles with his wife and becoming mayor. And then Matt is coming to the realization, like, oh, Fisk won. All like every. That's my Echo talking.
Well, you mentioned
But
it.
now we know what your wake word is, sir.
No, but I was thoroughly entertained throughout the entirety of it.
So I will say, and I want to get y'all's opinion on this, like that opening was fantastic. And I love how they did the one-shot fight, you know, where we saw it in the season 1 of Daredevil, where he's fighting and he's beating up thugs. This one, a lot of people are complimenting it, not just for the fact of it being a one-shot fight, but it also being a one-shot fight with a lot of story happening at the same time, which was really great. I will say my only critique of that opening, I was trying to put my finger on it when it first started. You saw him using the batons and like him grappling through the city and stuff, and I'm sitting there going, I feel like he's doing that, and like the camera is using like the TikTok filter where it follows you and it's not keeping up, and that was the only thing that threw me off at that. But I get it. I think a lot of that was practical, and I think they were trying not to overwhelm, so it was kind of like Daredevil was faster than the camera. But I can understand where that was a little bit wonky at first. It could have taken you out, but the moment you see him in this scene right here, you know it's about to go down.
oh, good.
He's so fun.
I feel every time I see him, I like something ignites in me that I'm like a dog. Like, oh my god, I love him.
But the moment we hear, though, they just were asking where you were. I'm sorry. Like the moment that happened, I'm like, I know exactly where this is going. I'm not gonna like it. I understand it.
I was
but I'm
hoping
not gonna
something
like
would
it.
happen. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, Bullseye never misses. And then I was like, even if he ducks, even if somebody knocks into him, he's still gonna get shot because
Bullseye's already
Bullseye never
calculated all that
misses.
stuff. Like he's gonna. What I read somewhere too, where it was like he could have just shot him point blank in the head, and he decided not to because of so Matt could hear his heart. So, but he is on my ish list. I am pissed the hell off.
I mean,
oh my god, that's
by the way, at what point during the fight did you realize that was the heartbeat we were hearing? and you realize it's now becoming the pentameter, if you will, for the scene. It was about, I think, a can of peas being thrown when I realized, wait a second, he
At
keeps
first, I thought
honing.
it was Matt's heartbeat.
Yeah, he
I was like,
keeps
oh, it is
honing
Matt.
back in
Yeah.
on that. At that point, my heart starts to break, not for what's I know is going to happen, but for what is happening. I'm like, if I were in that situation and I'm
Mhm.
hearing it slow down incrementally, I'm like, oh no, no,
And like
no,
then
no.
hearing Karen scream and then
Ugh.
having Dex in front of you smirking. Oh God, I would have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what if
I'm
like
reading this so much. You guys are all making this really bad. Like, it's so much worse now.
Oh, by the way, I guess I should say
was
this.
like, how did he survive?
Yeah.
It's
So
like-
before we go any further,
Nuts.
before we go any further, I should say this. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, because we've already probably ruined it for you if you haven't. But if you're watching, and then thank you guys for those for you who are watching. Give us your thoughts in the comments as well. But yeah, I think with Superman, you always have this idea, like Superman always knew where Lois's heartbeat was. Like that was how he kind of tracked her, and he could hear her throughout the whole world. I've never seen it done well on camera with any of the iterations of Superman. I felt like this, and especially didn't, and maybe I'm mistaken because I need to go back and watch it again because I haven't watched it 7 times yet. But when they're in the sentencing hearing,
Mhm.
when
Yep.
Karen walks in, he immediately hears
Mhm.
her heartbeat. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, dang, he's doing
He
that better
hears
than
her
Superman
down the
did.
hall, and
Yeah.
it
mentioned that,
instantly stops everything.
He
Yes.
mentions that in She-Hulk too, that he like listens to heartbeats. So it's like if you watch She-Hulk, you would have remembered that too.
Well, yeah, I know he does it for like people that are lying. Like he
Which-
listens for racing pulse and things like that. But
Which
Man.
I just hit my nose on my microphone. But in She-Hulk, that was one of the parts that I was like, oh my gosh, this is a superhero meet cute. Like at
Yeah.
the moment where he's says, I can hear your heart too, and then
Yeah.
suddenly he's like, what? Shut up! No, what? I'm just like, oh, that is so adorable, but it's a superhero thing too. I like this. I want to
As
live
much
in
as I
this
like-
world.
As much as I like the introduction of the Heather, the therapist, I kind of want She-Hulk to appear again. I think they would be so cute as a
You
relationship.
know what?
Mhm.
She-Hulk matches his freak. That's what it is.
Truly,
She
truly.
understands. Yes.
okay,
But-
I just
Totally
realized
right.
something. Okay, so depending on where She-Hulk lands in this, Karen has been on the West Coast,
I was
and
thinking the
Matt's
same thing.
been there at some point, and they didn't like. Come on, Matt.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
she
gonna
said she's in
explain
San
her.
Francisco,
Yeah.
and like Jennifer's in LA area.
Mhm.
So like it's still like a
True.
5-hour difference, technically speaking. They're not that close. Same state, but
Yeah,
not close.
true. Okay.
I
Thanks
get
for
where you're
ruining that.
going. I get where you're going. I gotta bring us back to the actual reality of white space.
But if you've got enough time to go get your suit tailored and do some daredeviling on the side, like
I feel like Matt would. He would hop
Yeah.
on a flight and be like, no, I'm gonna go see Karen.
But well,
I mean, I don't. She kind of like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Girl.
yeah.
Well, now
Well,
we know
I mean,
that. We didn't know that before.
for me, it was kind of like I'm assuming everyone here has seen Step Brothers, right? Yeah, somehow I'm making a Daredevil Step Brothers connection. At the point where they are doing everything they can to dissuade buyers for the house, and there's the one couple, and it ends with her saying, "Oh hell no, I can't deal with another dead body," and leaves. That's where I think Karen was at too. She was just like, that's it. I cannot deal with another dead body.
Well, this is a good point to kind of bring up something we talked about before we started the show. So there is a fan theory going on, and some of you may have heard about it, some may not have. But when they're first leaving Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, after this scene, there's a cut to, and I don't have it on that I can throw up, of an address number of 468. And 468 is the issue of Daredevil where Foggy Nelson has faked his own death, and he's basically like in witness protection, I think it is. And so a lot of people are thinking maybe he's not necessarily dead. They could have revived him on the ambulance, and he's in witness protection. I know we already shared some thoughts, but what do you guys think about how would that really make, would it be a good turn, or, well, if you're a Foggy fan, yes, but if you're not, do you think it would cheapen that whole opening sequence?
Do you want me to say what I said again, or
You could,
Yeah, I wasn't here for what you said, so I want to hear it.
Oh boy.
Oh wait,
Wait,
was
can I-
this what I
wait, can-
okay,
watched?
so
like,
hold on. Let me
can
lead
I
up
say
to
the
what.
same? Wait, can I say the
Yeah.
same exact words, or should I like?
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll use it as
filter
we'll use we usually have like one bit of profanity, and Will hasn't used it yet, so we're good. But basically, let me set you up because I know how it was going. Like
Well,
like
hold
what
on. Just
what if
one
what if the
moment,
reason what
from this point on,
no
folks,
Will
parental guidance is suggested.
okay thank you. The way we were talking about like he's witness protection, but what if the reason why Karen never showed up this whole year since everything happened, because they did the whole end game like the 1 year later thing, what if she was with Foggy in witness protection and they were off doing their thing?
I don't
And
think
then
so.
and then Shay's thought was
So she left to sit on his Piper. That is the PC
thank
term
you
I'm
thank you
using.
thank you, I appreciate it.
That was good.
For those who don't understand what I'm talking about,
Don't look it up.
Google.
Don't look it up and Google.
Just
But don't look it up. But Google it.
but Google it. Just look for the terms it's used for, and you will find your answer. But
Ask your
again, like I
virtual
said,
assistant.
I feel like it does it kind of cheapens, because how we left them, the flirtation between Karen and Matt was like on the whole thing. They're like, oh, we should uphold the law, but like still like the will they won't they thing. But you mean to tell me whether Matt shut you out or not, you still did? Okay, I got issues with that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a character death and then them coming back in a story does cheapen it quite a bit. But I also really like Foggy, and I kind of like I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind that. But it would also be cool if they wrote it in such a way that it cheapened it as little as possible.
I agree with that because I love Foggy, but like the whole thing with like Matt hearing his heartbeat slow down. Because I was talking about this theory with my friend, and I was like, but we saw the light leave his eyes. Matt went to the like. I feel like he would. I mean, I didn't read that comic, so I don't know how he wouldn't know. But I feel like
yeah, let me help you with that real quick. You mean
I'm sure it was some.
Oh my god!
No, stop it.
I'm sure it was
That is
some
not
Dad's
nothing
chemical
to
release.
boy. Oh my god.
There's always some drug or something that can slow the heartbeat to undetectable, or yeah, because Fury even used it on Winter Soldier.
The bro was bleeding out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
I mean,
we saw all the blood. Like,
yeah.
no.
I mean,
Oh, I'm not
like,
arguing. Believe me, I'm not arguing for it. Let him be dead.
As much as
short
I
of you
love
reviving
Foggy,
him on the ambulance and somehow Matt not being able to be in anywhere of vicinity, because granted, when he got found out by the cop, it was like, Matt.
Okay, I got an idea.
I got knives all up in me.
Here's how it could be done without being cheapened. He's taken off. Something happens. He's lost in the system. He's been in a coma for the whole year. And let's say the end of season 1, because there's reports that the actor is coming back for season 2. It could be flashbacks, which most likely it is. But what if they pull like an X-Men? I hate saying this. X-Men Last Stand with Xavier, where like not necessarily the body swapping, but like he wakes up from a coma, and that's how it ends for season 1.
I would not like it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, I love like Foggy Nelson, but no.
You mean you all would feel like this?
Yeah.
Wow. What is with you?
He is that broke my
That is like that is so heartbroken.
Canceled immediately.
The way, but come on, we all got to show some respect to the way that the silver reflected at just the right angle to make a D on the falling helmet.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
that's wonderful. It really softens the blow when you put it that way.
I will say when he like threw Bullseye off, I was shocked, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, like I was excited
Yeah.
that he did that. 'Cause, like,
And then
I was
deserved
really
it.
happy. And then he got up.
moving. I was like, "There's
That
no
pissed
way.
me
You
off.
are a
I'm like,
roach.
sir,
You are a roach."
you felt like face down.
And he cracked. Like you heard it.
Right.
But
I
I'm
was-
telling
I'm
you,
like,
how
my
are
you
you
gotta
still
be brain
functioning
dead.
right now?
You have to be dead. And like you
After-
survived and then Foggy didn't. Are you
Yeah.
joking right now?
After
Come on.
Like,
all
you
of
lucky I
that,
can't do it again.
after all of that, I was expecting Bullseye to get up and do the same to Karen. I was like, please no. And then the
Yes!
credits started. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god. When he said,
it's like
"Hello,
it's like you
Karen,"
see
I
him
was
like he's moved his arm and he like flicks a knife real quick. I'm like, oh, that's if they do that, I'm done. I'm turning it
I
off.
feel like he could have, but maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like he could have.
I think he
He
could
had
have like
time.
throughout though, like throughout that fight
Yeah.
sequence, like
Yeah,
even
he
leading up to
purposely-
it, like
yeah.
going in, he had time to do that and he didn't. So maybe
Mhm.
it's like she will have more pain because
Oh,
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like even worse.
He
Yeah.
literally walked
In some
up on
way.
her before she got her gun out to say hello, Karen, like
Yep.
as if he was about
Yeah.
to do her
He has
too.
so much
Yeah.
PTSD from that phrase now. I bet you she's like, "Oh," when everyone says hello. It's like, "No, please."
Oh man.
Poor girl, honestly.
I love
So
Karen.
let's kind of move past some of the emotional damage. We did reference this a little bit earlier. This was by far probably one of the coolest scenes between the two of them. I mean, all the cards on the table, they know what's going on. They're both calling each other out for themselves. I love that there's nothing hidden between the two of them, but they're playing it close to the chest. And I think I like this version of Fisk where it's a little bit more like he's trying to be good. At least he's pretending, whatever it is, he's acting
I
good
think he's
ish.
masking.
Oh,
He's
y'all,
he was
that
very much
conversation,
because
the conversation between Fisk and Vanessa, he's
Yeah.
like, there is, I guarantee you, somewhere
I have
within the remaining episodes, the
Yes.
other part of that conversation will drop.
no,
Yeah.
because what got me was like, oh, so you're having an affair. First of all, I clocked that anyway, but like I'm glad we're talking about it. Like it's being mentioned. But
Mhm.
like, man, what if you really love him? Why are you asking to save your lover?
And it's funny
I-
because she said, "Don't kill him." I was like, "He's definitely already dead. There is
So-
no way
Yeah.
that man is alive."
Sure, I
Shortly-
will not kill him. Future tense.
Yeah.
Shortly after
Dead
that,
already.
I didn't go back and watch it because when I watched it a second time, shortly after she said, please don't kill him, in the next scene before he talked to the commissioner, I swear he had bloody knuckles.
Yes.
Like they're
Yes,
basically
he
trying to
did.
tell you.
He did.
Like,
He's like, why would you believe him? You know this man. Why would you believe him? Yeah, I'm not gonna kill him today because I killed him yesterday.
right.
Like,
Like I'm
Or he's
telling
a
you because
vegetable.
I know, and I'm letting you know that I know. But also the fact that the commissioner's like, I'm resigning and I'm taking the police force, and he shows the picture, and I'm like,
yo, that was
so
hard.
we're really just acting. We're play acting at the moment because all this, I'm gonna save New York.
Oh,
I'm gonna fix
yeah.
New York. Oh, okay. I mean,
This is
That
New
didn't take
York
long.
though. Like
Mhm.
if you think about like the 80s and the 90s, it was like run by mafia and gangs, and everyone
Mhm.
got to the top because of those mafias and gangs and bribes and whatever. And that's the reason New York is built today. And it's like, it's just playing on that. And
Mhm.
those people built it based off of the fact that they said like New York will change if we're not in charge, and this will happen to you if we're not in charge. And that's exactly what's happening with Fisk.
Yeah.
which is just like he's like, I'm gonna fix it, but sir, you're the problem. So how can you like unless you fix it yourself, you ain't really fixing anything.
Right.
And then we're just in a vicious love-hate relationship. Also the thing I found interesting though was all the Punisher tats, or the fact that
Yes.
first of all, the fact that he mentioned the Punisher, the fact that he mentioned Spider-Man, and I was like, hold up, why is Spider-Man in this? My man saved
He's
the
in
world.
it.
Thrown in
Oh,
this.
Name
Why is
drop.
my man in this?
What did I do?
Called him straight for no reason.
He always
'Cause, like,
See, that was all a tongue-in-cheek wink to the fans, because there are two things. Like when I say I like Daredevil because I grew up reading Spider-Man comics, and those
Mhm.
two constantly interacted with one another.
Mhm.
And then, like, more so in the Spectacular Spider-Man series than the Amazing Spider-Man series, Spider-Man and Kingpin also have walked a long road together. So finally hearing the MCU Kingpin reference Spider-Man, that gave all the fans a little Peter tingle, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And the Doc
Peter
Ock
Tingle.
reference on the bridge.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
big crater. Yeah, that's him.
And when he got out, he
Yeah.
was like, "Let's fix this right now. This isn't rocket science." I was like,
First act as
No.
mayor. Let's fix a hole.
like, and then everyone was
Like
like,
your
"Yeah,
permit's
this is the
approved right
best."
now. Like
Right
your permit's
now.
approved right now. I just approved it. You ain't gotta worry
Yeah.
about it.
Can I say my first thought when I saw that that crater in the bridge was I was thinking Hawkeye.
Mm.
Like I'm like, is that like that's like the crater left over from the giant arrow? Like maybe I'm like,
No, that was in the
no.
that from
Oh, I
an
thought it was
infrastructure
from Doc
standpoint. That was
Ock.
in the
I
bridge.
thought
That's
that was
even
from
worse.
Marvels.
Well, it was from
Okay,
somewhere.
well, you know what? I mean, you know, the MCU destroys Manhattan, so it could be from
Yeah.
anything, to be honest.
Interest rates on
New York is
insurance
always
is
the
terrible.
one that gets
Yeah.
hammered. I
This
also
is the
liked how
Yeah.
how
No.
Matt brought up Echo, like Maya, and
Mhm.
was like, "Didn't your like niece shoot you in the face?" Like
That was great.
I
So
love
silly
it. It's like if you
goofy.
didn't watch Echo, you wouldn't
I
like. You're
tried
not
to mentor
missing
someone.
what's what he just said, but like watching Echo, I'm like, haha, I get it.
It was also
Yeah.
the fact that he was
It
just
was
like, you know,
funny.
what can you do with the children? Like, sir, you killed her father. You had somebody kill her father. I'm sorry. You kind of deserved it. I don't understand
Yeah.
this she's a child nonsense, because did you not turn this child into an assassin? I'm confused.
That
So there's a character in the series. His name is Daniel Blade. He's that assistant to
Yes.
Fisk, the really young upstart, right? Excited. I hated his face the moment he started talking. I could not stand him. Like his hairstyle looks sleazy, and I know they did that on purpose. But I'm sorry. I don't normally like hate people, but
Comeback.
I
Dang.
can't like like that guy, like you could tell like something's gonna happen, like he's gonna do something that's gonna mess everything up. And I'm predicting it now. He's gonna die at the hands of Fisk, not anybody else.
Yes.
It's gonna be Fisk, and I'm waiting for it. I'm kind of hoping it's like a Daredevil season 1 episode 4 moment, but it's okay if it's not. We'll get there.
He's
But
I'm sorry. You can
no,
keep going.
he's totally like a character in a mafia movie that you know is gonna die. Like he's sleazy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I looked at him, and his dad is Tony Soprano. So I was
Yeah.
like, all I see is Tony Soprano. So I was like, oh, you're gonna follow in the footsteps of your dad. I see. Okay.
Mhm. But then he also introduces BB to
Yeah.
Kingpin.
Yes. Oh my, and she has
And
to know.
It
She
was also the fact that he was mentioned by Madison in She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but Madison, how did you? I need more Madison personally. I need a Wongers and Madison show,
Yes.
but that's
Yes.
separate.
Yep.
But also, I have questions for Madison. Like, why do you know him?
Yeah.
First of all, because we're in LA. Also, this is like from New York. So how do you know a man in New York?
Something's not adding up.
I need
Yeah.
to see Madison again for sure.
I missed her. I wanted to just pop up and be like, hey.
She
I
should
want to
be
know.
doing
I want to know about
Stanley.
the deal. That's what I want to know is what deal she made with that goat.
you know,
But-
just given her personality, I would not be shocked if Madison was low-key a native New Yorker. Just given it.
yeah.
She's giving off like Bronx
Or
vibes.
just like a Jersey
Oh, yeah.
Shore type.
Just even Jersey Shore, like
Jersey
give me,
Shore,
like,
Long
We
Island,
definitely
something.
saw Matt on Tinder and went on one date with him. Like, I bet you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, with a Y, but not where you think.
That's
Um,
love her.
Yeah,
still
I'm gonna
lose
cosplay
sleep
her
over
one
that.
day just to see how many people know me.
yeah.
Yes.
I think though, when BB was introduced, and for whatever reason, I had an inclinations that she was something more involved, but it was when Fisk said Ben Ulrich, I'm like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
like she's playing the field, and I agree with what you said, like that you think she has to know what happened,
Mhm.
and like I really like there are. This is what scares me. We've only got like what four more weeks of this, or like 3 more weeks, because it's like
3
we're
more.
on 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 is so we only have 3 more weeks of this, which is like horrendous. But thankfully they will be in production on March the 12th, I think, for season 2. Like they're not.
Yeah, they put the signs up for filming in New York, so
They're not waiting.
Nice.
They knew it was going to be a success in the first place. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we haven't even gotten to Frank Castle yet.
Ooh, I love
but-
him.
Mhm.
I just want to know if we actually will see the Punisher in here, if we're gonna see Jessica, we're gonna see Luke, because man's not a Hell Kitchen, so there's like more options for all of them to pop up.
If Danny Rand doesn't show up, I'm good with that though. Like I'm okay. At least
Like, oh
at
my
least the
gosh,
version that we've seen in Netflix.
I've
Yeah.
been iron fisted enough. Okay, thank you. By the way, can I just share with everyone the beauty of cosplay? I mean, this looks really impressive, right? But then you get to this point because you can't have the ears. So this is what I look like now.
Oh my God, you're
Speaking-
not Daredevil? What?
I know, shocking.
no!
Why?
Wait, you can see the screen? How dare you?
Okay, so here we go now. And instantly I've gone from Daredevil to Fisk, just like that.
Oh wow.
It's so nice to see you all now. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm sorry.
I did love how when Fisk was like threatening the commissioner, like after the guy leaves and he gets what he wants, he's like, thank God this sandwich was terrible. Like,
Oh my, when
So
this was the
silly.
first meal, when it was
Which
like
is, like,
that
so
dry
disrespectful.
piece of chicken and like one piece of asparagus, I was like, Fisk, now you need more than that. Like,
No, he's a changed man.
Now
Yeah,
he's
Really.
got a lighter
Listen,
step.
I can speak from experience. Being a big guy myself, I will eat a small meal. I'm like, yeah, that filled me. It's like, yeah, that's not what I live off of normally. The dude is fisting something. Well, let's not say that. He's shoving something in his mouth to eat. Will rubs off
Wow.
me in the wrong
This
way.
show is not PG.
I'm gonna move.
That's why I clicked the not for kids part on YouTube. It's like,
I'm
Hey,
gonna
fire! The
redirect-
frying pan called. Settle down.
I'm gonna redirect that to the weird kid real quick.
Yeah.
Because we're just gonna move past that. The Bastion character talking to Heather right before his business
yeah.
whatever manager.
he got
And in my mind, I'm like, I was like serial killer. Like, I'm
Yup.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, so you might be a serial killer because like you need help.
Yeah.
And
It
you
was
could-
like, yeah, it was very obvious that he's going to be Muse. Like, I did a little research on Muse, and he sounds like a very cool villain, but like very messed up. Like, I've never seen a serial killer villain in Marvel that just like kills for art.
Mhm.
So I feel like Heather's gonna be gone. Matt's gonna have to find another girlfriend because I think she's
I
out.
mean, essentially, I just knew she was disposable. It's gonna suck, but like,
Yeah, and at the meet and greet, she was like, "Yeah, I'll take a new patient." Girl, please. Oh my God.
I can't
Yeah,
believe she
that's-
didn't read him though. Like, I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
with
like-
her level of expertise, she should be able to like see through this person and like even
Well-
though she wants to help him, go refer him to like somebody else.
Well, I think
Right,
that's-
because we're all sitting here going, that dude's weird.
Yeah,
Here's
and
the thing.
especially if
yeah,
he's
and she's not.
We've always seen the trope,
And this is her
though, where-
profession.
but we've always seen the trope where a creepy guy like that has approached a person or a woman, and they'll ask for help, and then they'll immediately be spurned, and then that's what causes the stalker situation.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if maybe she did that as a way of like deflecting and saying, yeah, here, email me and let's, see what we can do. And at that point, she can do it offline away from him, as not to upset him and cause some altercation in person. I could see
Yeah.
both ways, but yeah, it was really weird. I'm sitting there going, don't do it. But then of course, then you see that she's doing counseling with Vanessa and Kingpin. I'm like, yeah, this ain't going well for Matt or her.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Like-
feel like they almost framed it that way. So at the end, you think it's him, but then it's actually them.
Yeah.
And just really quick about the sandwich scene, then I'm going to move past it. I was thinking the whole scene, what if the commissioner didn't see the picture and he just walked out? But that was it. That was all I had.
Well,
But
the thing was, like, I think he was already hyper aware of the situation because of the sandwich, because that was a sandwich. Like the restaurant meant
Yeah.
something to him, and that's what got his attention. That's why when he moved it, like, he already knew. Fisk is very aware of how to get people to pay attention to what he wants to, and do it in such a nonchalant way. But that's why he said the sandwich was terrible, because he was like, "Yeah, this is a plot piece. This is a prop. This is all it is." And let me get this out of my mouth now.
But in
I
my
do wanna
mind, I'm
touch on
also
this.
just like, he's like, I want to be careful what you wish for. That's what the commissioner said. And I'm like, I don't know what's about to pop off, but will I be entertained? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what he does. And like, I feel like he would do something more on the lines of like Ben Urich, like, and go. I think we're gonna see a team up between him and Daredevil in some regard, because obviously he can't make a move without Fisk like threatening his family. So he's gonna have to do something under the table, and I feel like the only way to do that is with Daredevil, and I hope it is. Crossing fingers, but that would be really cool.
Yeah. Now, Matt Murdock does put himself in the crosshairs of the police, specifically for who we know as Hector Ayala, White Tiger, which also rest in peace for Camar de los Reyes. Passed away not too long ago. And I will say I've liked the depiction of this guy. Like, he just looks like a weary, I got to do the right thing kind of guy. And it's unfortunate, like, he's mixed up all of this, which also brings us to the point of where, we get to that ending in optics, and
that was great.
This was so good. This was so good.
I loved this whole sequence.
You're gonna beat up a visually impaired.
Yeah.
No, but like, for real, like, so he blind, and you both decided, oh, let's double team the blind, like.
And he keeps going, don't do it, you don't want to do this. Like, he's like, I'm gonna body you. Like, I know how this ends, and just don't put me in this position, because he's already gotten the ultimatum from Fisk. Fisk has already vocalized, the whole anti-vigilante thing with his acceptance speech and everything else. Like, Matt knows he's gonna be in a bad place. And of course, when they started beating him and that blood dropped on the ground, I'm like, crap, he's stuck. Yeah, he's stuck. Yeah. It doesn't matter if he grabs his
But I'm also just like, when he did that, I was expecting a knockout. I was not expecting neck breaking and what else happened. I was expecting maybe a restraint type thing, and them clean up my blood and get out of here. I was like, oh, like, there's two things happening in simultaneous. One, I'm fucked. Sorry, that was my one for the day. And then two, I liked it. Like, I missed that version of myself.
Letting the devil out.
Yeah.
Oh, when he bent the arm and you saw the skin break, I was like, Netflix ain't got nothing on the MCU right now. Like,
the visual representation of that escalated quickly, because he got the arm break and I went, oh, and then he bounced his head and it went like that. It was like, oh, he's totally gone.
And now the thing is, of course, because I've heard so many people focus on that blood. His blood is now at a crime scene where two cops have been, I don't think beat to death, but definitely one of them is not walking anymore.
And one's dead. That neck was broken before as he hit the ground. Oh, that neck was gone.
You think it's a full break and not? Of
course, here's the thing though. He's blind. Like, it's gonna be really hard. Like, so you're saying a blind man did all of this? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, that technically gives him some type of plausible, deniability.
He like Daredevil went in there and did it, except for Fisk knows who he is,
right?
Except for my blood ending up here, and but you can also say I'm bruised too. So I don't know who showed up to help, but somebody showed up to help.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can kind of play with that.
It's bad, man. It's bad, but also we all watched it. And we enjoyed it, didn't we? We were just like, that's right. Bring him back. Especially after that diner.
Daredevil's back. Like,
after that diner scene, since that was two guys very clearly saying they're new people, but also blatantly pointing out there's still that in them to do their old ways. It's just like, and after we heard about the reshoots, I was very hopeful that he would even be grabbing another helmet or mask
Yeah.
by the end. But I'm telling you guys, if it's not by the end of 3, I'm melting that thing.
I'm with you on that. I want to see him in the suit like very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say season 3 of the Netflix Daredevil series really weighed on me. Like it was the hardest season to get through because, like, I mean, mind you, he was in the church most of the time, and like you saw Bullseye as Daredevil more than you saw Daredevil as Daredevil.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that I always, it's hard. I mean, so the hardest thing for a when you spread out any superhero like story is, you know, making it more than just them in the suit doing stuff, which I think is perfectly fine. I mean, we grew up, you know, watching some really subpar superhero films where they were in suits a lot of the times, and then there were some that were really great. You can do that, but it seems like there's always a trope where they get rid of the suit, they give up things. I mean, even like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, we did this whole Spider-Man No More where he loses ability because he's having a web lock, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And Thor in the first Thor film, which is one of the reasons why I don't like the first Thor film that much. I enjoy it, but not as much, is because what do? We've got Thor. We're finally seeing, the God of Thunder, on the big screen, and we take his powers away and we make him I mean, like literally they mastered the universe him. And it's like stuff like that drives me nuts. But I will admit with what he's doing, he's not hiding away. And that end scene in Optics was literally the culmination of all of that pent up anger he had throughout the whole last 2 episodes. Because I mean, like you could see it, like he was boiling at the surface when Fisk won. And then it's like one thing after another. And then those cops just like, they were wrong place, wrong time.
There's no way he would go to Fisk for help, right? Like that's not something that would happen.
No,
not in this lifetime.
Murdoch.
What? Maybe in the multiverse somewhere.
But also the question would be like, what would he ask Fisk, and then what would Fisk want in return? Because Fisk is not doing anything out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah, maybe this is where Frank Castle comes in.
Ooh,
because I was gonna bring him up because when they showed the dirty ass cop with that tattoo, I was like, oh, he hates your ass. Sorry, I said it twice, but I was like, I love the Punisher, so I'm like, maybe that's why Matt goes to him. And like when they showed it in the clips, it was like Frank was taken by surprise, and Matt was like, put the axe down, like I'm not trying to fight you. So maybe Frank's gonna help with that. I hope so, and I hope we get some Karen and Frank moments because I am a Castle shipper. So
bring back Karen in some way.
Yearning.
That would be the way.
Yearning. Oh, so good.
Well, you think about people who wear who do the Punisher like tat. It's always interesting to me because in their minds they're doing it because they feel like the Punisher represents them, not understanding the fact that the Punisher is only about actually fighting for the law and upholding the law. If you are someone who is not upholding the law, why would you think I'd be on your side?
If you're a dirty cop, why would you think that Frank Castle would fight for you? Like,
Well, it's I'll be honest with you. It's like, even if you talk about in real life, you have a lot of like police fraternities that use the Daredevil symbol, and that's kind of why Marvel Comics has kind of like deviated a little bit from the old school logo, is because it's like, Frank Castle was never pro cop in the sense of, he felt like they weren't doing their job or they were too corrupt to do anything right, so he was taking it in his own hands.
He says multiple times.
It's kind of like not understanding and not reading the context appropriately.
It's like people who think Captain America is like for the government or for America, and I'm like, huh?
And it's like, clearly you never read a Sam Wilson comic. Dude, he was disowned by America like fast, and he was like doing whatever he could to like earn money at one point.
And even for me, as a person who has never read a comic, I've never picked up a comic. All my knowledge is MCU knowledge, but the fact that I understand who this character is,
all you do is watch Civil War, and then you'll see
No, then people try to use Civil War as if like that is proof in some way, and I'd be like, I can't have a conversation with you when you do that. because now I know you're delusional, and you can't argue with delusional people.
Yeah, Steve Rogers would not be with it. That's all I have to say.
I will say this, like with the Defender series, one of the things that I hope, like, because especially with the way Sam Wilson was in the comic books, he was basically disowned by the country. He was basically like a hero for hire. It almost felt like a little bit of an A-team. But now that we've got Daredevil that is officially MCU, and we're having characters brought back, one that I know specifically, and I know Sarah has a different opinion about who needs to at least be referenced because they were done dirty. But I'm going to say this: we need Misty Knight. And we need Misty Knight to work with Sam. I'm just saying it. Like, she needs to be his Black Widow, basically. Like, that's a thing. That like I'm gonna say right now, Brave New World would have been a whole lot better without Beth Seraph, and would have been a whole lot better with Misty Knight in that place. I think it would have made a lot more sense, especially from the comics standpoint. But Sarah, who do you think was done dirty not being referenced?
In where?
From the from the Defenders Daredevil series, let's say a very electrifying character.
Okay, listen. She died. She came back. She died again. She's not coming back again. That's crazy. It's psychotic. It's not even like a thing. To have Elektra come back would be a disservice to her character. But to have Jennifer Gardner reprise her role as Elektra in some other shape and form and have those two be separate in some regard, I'm down for. But if we're bringing back that original actress, I don't remember her name. Yes. If we were to bring her back, then no, she's gone. She's dead. That's it. Period. I'm done. End of TED Talk.
Okay. So Marvel, you listen to fans all the time. So you've heard Sarah bring back Elektra. That's basically
yeah. I mean, if you gain anything from the story, it's basically that.
Yeah. So we're almost at 11 o'clock. We're almost at the hour. So we don't want to take too much more time. It's final thoughts. Anybody got final thoughts? We're not going to go around the table. Just who has something that they want to say last. All right. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for coming.
Matt Murdock looks hot in his suit. That's all.
Oh yeah, he does.
Charlie Cox is just hot.
Charlie Cox. Oh my!
Yeah.
I literally have a picture of me and him right here when I met him. Like,
oh, that's fabulous.
That's
I'm
fine.
so mad I missed when he was walking around as Bluey.
Yes,
me too. I would have loved that.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I saw him that
row.
year. I saw him. I saw that Bluey costume. Did not recognize who he was.
I wouldn't either.
I
would
regret.
not
But when you look at it now, and you look at the pictures of people that had it with him,
yeah,
you know it's Charlie
Cox.
Cox.
At your Comic-Con, like, you're passing thousands of people. I would have been like, oh, it's a guy cosplaying as Bluey. But you know how pissed that day I was actually wearing a Matt Murdock shirt, and I remember I went home to my hotel because I was sick, and someone was like, oh my God, Charlie Cox was where you were, like, at New York Comic Con. I was like, I'm lighting this place on fire. What do you mean? Like, and then he was just there looking all cute with a little Bluey outfit. I was like, I gotta go. Like, you're pissing me off.
I missed
we would have seen an incident.
Me too. Yeah. I walked by the
this
Marvel
year
booth,
too.
like, there was no way I was going to see Charlie Cox. And then on Twitter, someone was like, "Oh, Charlie's at the Marvel booth." I was like,
I accidentally went to Queens. Otherwise, I would have been there.
No, the we need to ask the important question. Is Charlie Cox single?
No, he's married. His wife's name is Samantha. He has 2 kids.
That was a lot of information that came very fast.
I love him. I don't know. I have a tattoo of Daredevil. I love him.
Whoa.
Well,
you should get a signature there and tattoo it right underneath.
I know.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
But he's such a if you ever get the chance to meet Charlie, I highly recommend it. He's he's the opposite of Matt Murdock. Like, don't expect a brooding man. He's like the sweetest little munchkin ever.
That's okay.
Oh no,
That's cute too.
My brain was like, "What do you mean the opposite?" And then I'm like, "Because I would take either version personally, but that's personal preference."
So it's circling.
So
it's circling online right now that when the first season of Daredevil on Netflix was going out, they were doing a fundraiser, and he was able to get the rose tinted glasses
was
to
there
add
when
to
he
the
saw
auction. And so he went and looked to see how much it was. It was only like $250. So he ended up paying $500 and bought his own glasses.
Yeah.
And then they said that he had to, when you bought the auction, you had to like stand in line to get it. And so he's standing in line to buy his own glasses.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the cutest engagements. Like when you see that a character like he absolutely loves Daredevil.
He
and
loves Matt.
I think it's people like him, Aman Vellani, like different people who just love their character and they want to see them grow. Robert Downey Jr., the verdict's still out. I am terrified about him like writing his own backstory for Doom, but we're going to go there at a different time.
Well, he was born to play Iron Man. I want to say that. He was born to be Tony Stark.
That's
they should have left him,
undisputable.
and they should have left him dead. Let him die. Let him really die. I could have had Eternals. I'm still pissed about Angelina Jolie and my Gilgamesh. Okay.
Yeah,
forever.
Why are you gonna bring Angelina Jolie into a movie and just give her PTSD the whole time? Like, come on.
Yeah. And then kill her man who's not her man but is her man.
Right. Yeah. This man just let her cook, like let her be in her pain. Yes. He cooks it. He cleans. I'm sorry. For centuries. And then you have my Makari and my Druid.
Yes.
The cutest couple. And one of the best speedsters we had on a freaking live action feature film in forever.
Yep.
Just for y'all to be like, we only gonna reference this once in She-Hulk and have it be a semi-plot for Brave New World. Yet still, you ain't bringing back my Eternals.
And I will tell you this is not the first time that we have done a Marvel talk show where Eternals have been brought up. We really need to do one specifically for that because
Eternals.
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah,
like I don't know why it gets so much hate. It's
we'll work on it. I think after this is over, after this like series is over, we're gonna have to dive into Eternals.
I'll have to do an Eternals rewatch before that because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
It was like I know it was long, but it was so good. Like
it is interesting because people always say like, "Oh, I couldn't get into Eternals because all these characters." What do you think people who don't read comic books going into this movie are feeling like?
But we loved Endgame, and there were so many people, but there wasn't enough characters that we saw there. Why wasn't Howard the Duck there? Like, come on,
right?
You'll never satisfy people. That's just how it's going to be.
No,
the land shark.
Yeah.
So we've got. You wanted more? No.
We've got 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes before the hour. So let's go ahead and just wrap up. Sarah, since we're starting with you, let's go ahead and go natural clockwise, and let's everybody tell us where we can find you. And we'll end with me.
This time I know I'm going. So I'm at Movies and Tea across all social media platforms.
Awesome.
I am Scarlet Bruja on TikTok and the Scarlet Bruja on Instagram.
I am a spoonful of shade across all social media platforms. Yes, and YouTube. I had to really think about that. Don't ask me why.
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials.
Right.
That Will Wilkins, where anythings can be found.
And I am Tony. You know me as Mr. Marvelite on social media. But most importantly, just remember, if you're watching this and you have not checked out It's Fanbox, itsfanbox.com or youtube.com/itsfanbox, go and check it out. We're really trying to do some fun things and great things. And of course, we've got some amazing creators that work with us and are able to come on. And we absolutely love them. And we love you guys for watching. You can also get this audio version of the podcast wherever you get your podcast. It will be going live tomorrow. But also, one of the things I want to direct you guys to, if you haven't seen it yet, on It's Fanbox's YouTube and on itsfanbox.com, Michael and I were able to sit down with Melissa LaMartina. She's the director and the wife of the writer for the Dread film For Sale by Exorcist, which is a horror comedy and is actually really fun. In fact, it's probably one of the most solid plot lines I've seen on a Dread film for a while, and I actually really enjoyed myself. And there's one scene where Melissa and her husband Chris are in a scene together, and it is probably the best scene of the movie. So go check that out. That movie will be available on March 11th. And with that said, we'll be back next week, 10 o'clock, this time again, same Daredevil channel, same Daredevil time, to talk about episode 3. With that said, everyone, good night. It takes a second. Here we go. Goodbye.